I want to say that, look, there's one gatekeeper for the whole, what's gone wrong with SRE, and therefore we need to hold RBI responsible, or we have to hold the rating agencies responsible, or we need to hold the auditors responsible.
The rating agencies are proactive. Probably shareholders will be much better informed.
My question is, should as shareholder and a taxpayer, am I entitled to know who are these people who have defaulted, especially the big defaulters, and should the banks be revealing those names?
Look, in the interest of transparency, they should, and they are sharing this information with rating agencies, etc. But you need to look at kind of some of the actions. A year and a half back, the rating agency said, look, our definition of default is 1 day past due. SEBI had wanted that to happen. Subsequently, before the order could be rolled out, there was some pressure to say no. Now, what these pulls and pressures are, one doesn't know. But look, it's important that everyone plays their role. If you kind of look at it, it's unfortunate. Banks will say, okay, I'm lending because the auditors have kind of, I've read the balance sheet and there are no red flags, and therefore we are lending. The rating agencies will say that, okay, we've looked at the audit and therefore we've kind of given it a rating. The banks will say, look, we've looked at the rating and therefore we've lent. The equity market will say, look, banks are lending to this entity and therefore, the share price will continue to go up. The regulators everyone will turn around and say, look, the regulators if there were some issues, the regulators would have flagged it off. They haven't done anything. And therefore, we are well within our rights to either buy the equity or lend to it. So I would say that in this context, everyone has a role to play. Regulators need to kind of, if there are, I'm not saying confidential information, and you don't want it to happen that there's a run on the bank or the NBFC, but where there is materiality, they could actually, sensitize the market. And the preventive action which they take on banks is one of the steps to say that, okay, you can't take more deposits, etc. There should be some safeguards or guide rails which they build to ensure that people just don't get sucked in. But look, everyone needs to do their homework. The bond investors need to look at what the ratios are. What is it for the peer set, and is it consistent with what is happening with the others? Equity investors need to look at the ratios, what is happening. They do their diligence. They go and meet customers. They figure out who all has who the bank has lent to and what is happening. The auditors need to be a little bit more mindful, and they need to be a little bit more skeptical about all the information which is coming out. The rating agencies themselves have to say that, look, if this is what the auditors are saying, is it consistent with what our intuitive sense of the data is? So everyone has a little bit of a role to play. And I would say that the more the information which is out there, be it the 10 largest defaults, or whether instances of large evergreening or whatever it is, will give the market better sense of what is going to happen. And the other is that we've seen that the sooner you arrest some of these events, the sooner you're able to identify that, look, this is a problem brewing, you're able to kind of correct it and stop it from spreading. But the moment it becomes very large, then it becomes that much more difficult to contain. So, just look at two examples which have played out. We've got SRE playing out these days, but, it's 28,000 crores, not a small amount, but still it's 28 versus ILFS, which was there. The other thing is the market had a sense that, look, something is not right with SRE, and therefore the market could kind of reset its expectations. ILFS came out as a bolt from the blue. And again, it comes to the fact that how much information is out there and what is it that the market is broadly expecting from some of these things.
Is it the onus on the regulator or the regulator to set in mechanisms where banks can make those disclosures? Or is it on individual lenders at every stage?
There is a confidentiality sort of clause So industry-wide, that's where the rating agencies to some extent have insider information. So I think, or at least data from the companies itself directly. So they could use that to at least flag off and downgrade ahead. So if the rating agencies are proactive, probably shareholders will be much better informed. In many cases, rating agencies, as was said about Moody's, also tend to be slightly, I would say, reactive. And so that acts as a slightly negative for from a perspective of shareholders.
I'm not sure I want to say that, look, there's one gatekeeper for the whole, what's gone wrong with SRE, and therefore we need to hold RBI responsible, or we have to hold the rating agencies responsible, or we need to hold the or auditors responsible. I would, as I said, it's a collective thing. Unfortunately, everyone looks at the other and takes comfort, which is why it becomes important that everyone does what they're supposed to with a degree of seriousness. Don't look over your shoulder and say, "Arey, bank ne paise de diye to theek hoga." Right? You have to ask yourself, look, the bank is lending, but look, they may be sitting on a higher security than others in the market, and therefore that shouldn't be a comfort for you.
The question that I'm asking is, what are the rules of the game? At what point should you disclose, as a lender, whether it's an NPA or likely to be an NPA, or there has been a default, like one day after default, etc. And who should set the rules of the game?
So let's leave the regulators out of it, because that has completely different ramifications for the market. So therefore, first the onus is on the company. They have to have they not only have to have policies, and I'm sure if you read the policies for default and cure, etc., everything will be out there. And so if they've got policies and processes, they need to adhere to them. You've got the auditors who are kind of then going ahead and doing the audit. There is this whole reliance on the audit standards, etc., but they have to ensure that the audit which they're doing is useful for the users of the reports, and therefore they also owe it to everyone to say that, look, to all stakeholders, that they've kind of done sufficient work and ensured that the audit is up to scratch or as accurate as it can be, given the information which they've reviewed. Of course, I can argue that they should be asking for more and more, given the fact that there's technology. Rather than small samples, you can do with larger samples, if not the entire universe of data out there. Banks also need to do the same. They're saying that, look, we've got a credit department. The role of the credit department is not to say that, look, this is the rating and therefore lend on that. The role of the credit department is also to kick the tire and say, does it stand their scrutiny? And therefore, is it a higher risk or a lower risk to come to it? The equity market, of course, has its own role to play. I would say that the information which the equity market has is far higher than, a lot of the others. And they're constantly processing that information and putting their calls on the stock in terms of moving the share price up and down. So they also have to be very sensitive to what is the data they're at. Regulators, as I said, have a completely different role to play. It can move the market, and therefore they should be kind of, again, ensuring that, look, there are guidelines, there are policies, there are regulations kind of address these and ensure that there's compliance with the regulation. That's what they should be focused on, rather than, saying things which might scare the market.